One thing to note, the person in the background on your screen there as well, that's Aimless. He's part of the Black Dragons as well. He was at the World Championships in 2015 on the old Wheel of Bacon.
Oh,
so it's a nice little shout back to Wheel of Bacon.
I remember that.
Yeah,
now I'm hungry, by the way.
Well, it's almost done at time.
That's right.
Well, to be fair, though, I think Spacestation Gaming already had lunch after that first game.
Well, they're going for their second course already. Dessert already.
That's what they're after for game 2. Next up on your screen will be the picks and bans, Black Dragons versus Dignitas, and let's find out what Black Dragons can do differently here. Obviously, I don't think they can really expect the likes of a Carly, so you can forgive them for that, but the rest of the comp seems to be okay.
No, I mean, the composition overall from Black Dragons, I don't necessarily have a problem with. Again, I do think that I'd prefer to see Kliz on a warrior instead of the Guardian. He's not going to get an opportunity to bully out an Achilles with a Cerberus. You're just never going to get a chance to be aggressive. And think back to that one moment where Achilles nearly dies, but Aquarius somehow able to escape in the middle of a three-man gang. If that's a typical warrior in that situation, probably doesn't let him get away. My reasoning behind not wanting to see these Guardians is because you pick Guardians in the solo lane to out-teamfight your opponent in the late game. No one is going to get to the late game to out-teamfight you. And even if they do get to 35, 40 minutes, chances are you've been sitting under your Phoenix for 5 or 10 minutes at that point, and you're never going to be able to get an even team fight anyways. Those are there to swing it in your favor for those even 5-on-5 fire giant dances. Black Dragons isn't going to get to that point, so there's no reason to go for it. Pick something that can affect the map earlier on and give yourself a shot.
Well, the difference is this time around, it's Black Dragons with the first pick option this time around. Actually, no, did they have it last game as well?
No, it was FSG who had first pick last time.
And so with that, what will happen here? Will Spacestation leave the Achilles up, or will they take that away themselves?
They could. I mean, Giannis was left or was banned away right away by Spacestation last time. Hasn't been banned quite yet. I wonder if they're going to leave that open, though I can't imagine they'll let Nann pick that because we just saw how easily Spacestation was able to punish him when he's on an immobile sort of mage, which is most of them. So you get a chance to punish him even harder if you can ban away that Giannis again. I expect that's where SSG will go, but I don't think Black Dragons will necessarily ban away the Ullr that they did last time. I'd like to see them go for something like a first pick of an Ullr to give them some pressure wherever they decide to put it.
Well, if Spacestation Gaming do win this game, they'll go on to face Dignitas tomorrow. And if they don't win, then we'll go to a game 3. And if Black Dragons obviously lose this set, they will go off to face off against, I believe, it's zGonnZ.
Correct, yes. They'll drop into the lower side bracket and have another shot tomorrow up against those guys to move on and keep their Smite Masters hopes alive.
So, expensive bans, and we've gone through a couple of them. Maybe they go for the Giannis for themselves. Not giving Nann the Giannis, is that a bad idea?
No, not at all. I think there's no way I ban Giannis here if I'm Black Dragons. Instead, I mean, it was Sobek that was banned by SSG in the first slot. I don't think I'd be too worried about that. Achilles is a smart one. I like this because now you're forcing Spacestation to give you either Ullr or Giannis. And so those are priority picks that let you either escape pressure in the case of the Giannis or sometimes provide it yourself. And, of course, the Ullr would provide quite a bit of pressure.
I expect a Giannis ban then and make Black Dragons take the Ullr away. Because if you don't, you give it over to Baskin or even BaRRaCCuDDa. If they so choose, Baskin happy to play that all time and time again. We've seen a couple times so far this year already.
I completely agree with you. This is an easy Giannis ban if I'm on Spacestation. Let Black Dragons take the Ullr should they want it. But it's Sobek instead. Okay. So now this is the other option. Now Black Dragons go, now we only get one. So this could be a Giannis selection here for SSG, but even though Giannis, I think, has more impactful games more often than Ullr does, I still like the Ullr selection first because Giannis, it'll be a little bit harder, not that much harder, but a little bit harder for Baskin to just insta-win the game with a Giannis in comparison to an Ullr.
Could just leave the Giannis alone. I mean, Poseidon available again, and Poseidon against Ullr's not terrible. I mean, the early game, granted, but once you get that whirlpool down, you're going to have to beats to jump away every time from the Kraken.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. You have that option. I just think that I would have gone for the Giannis anyways. It's not showing anything to the opposition, and it just gets Baskin in a rhythm. Giannis definitely feels like a rhythm character to me, making sure you're hitting the middle of that unstable vortex on moving targets as often as possible. You want to be as comfortable as you possibly can on a god like that going into your games against Dignitas tomorrow.
Well, Spacestation Gaming, game 1, they drafted a very team fight heavy composition with big ultimates. Game 2, the first 2 picks are dictating to me that they're going to be looking for lots of mobility across the map.
Now Black Dragons has that option to match it with something like the Ullr, or excuse me, the Giannis. They've already selected that Ullr. Could be a Geb or something like that to try and protect against the Athena or the Ganesh that Spacestation went last game in response to PIBE's Athena, but I think that pressure should still be the name of the game. Fafnir, not a bad selection here because it opens up the door to double Hunter very easily.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Chulainn right here for Kliz to try and give him something that he can actually pressure out that right side of the map with.
Yeah, a lot of the time with Kliz, I've seen him mainly on defensive Guardian types, or even like warriors like Amaterasu in the past, which we've seen.
Yes.
But it'll be a Ravana for the jungle, which I do like the selection over here. Get a bit, apply some early pressure here for zGonnZ potentially.
Yeah, I like it because this is not going to worry quite as much about the mobility of Athena and Ratatoskr. You can chase them down fairly easily, and it's very difficult to initiate onto a Ravana with that overhead kick. I think that's a smart idea.
And there is your Hachiman main smiling away to himself. Did die for first blood in game 1 though.
He did, but bounced back very quickly and ended up looking okay.
And it seems that BaRRa's like taken the, not necessarily the fall from grace, but he's not had the greatest year so far. He's taken it in stride. He's not super upset about it. He realizes the situation.
Look, there are a lot of pro players that, you're like, hey, you haven't played very well recently, and they're like, wait, why would you know? And then you get all mad about it and start yelling at you. BaRRa's like, yeah, you're right, I played really, really poorly as of late, but here's what I'm going to do to try and turn it around. He's he's very down to earth in that regard. He's willing to accept that there are games and sets and splits overall that aren't going to go his way, and he's just going to have to try and fix them.
Spacestation banned Giannis. They don't have a mid laner yet, technically, on paper, for themselves, but they're going to take that away, worried that Black Dragons might want to run that themselves.
Maybe SSG wants to continue to throw curveballs for Dignitas tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking.
And then Black Dragons ban Ra.
Yeah, Nann hasn't picked his gods, but I think that's going to be Ullr mid. The Fafnir tips me that is probably going to be a second Hunter.
Or Sol.
Coming in the second ban
Kronos.
phase. Could be a Sol or Kronos, though we've seen a little bit less of both of those gods. Haven't seen either of them at all and picked or banned so far in the first day.
We'll say Fafnir combined with Poseidon's pretty good too, because the Trident does a lot of damage.
Oh, it is, and an upgraded sprint as well with that. It's really, really good. I think Poseidon's in a really healthy spot right now. Can fit into a lot of team composition, shuts down a lot of the mobility the teams are going for. It's why Ares starting to see some uptick in popularity, shuts down a lot of the mobility that are on a lot of popular gods. Poseidon can do the same thing.
I like that idea. We'll see how Poseidon does throughout the rest of the tournament. But for now, he's going to get banned in this game, though. Black Dragons don't want to deal with that again in the mid lane.
Can't say I blame them, but I wonder what SSG is going to go for now. Agni is open, and I think would give Baskin excellent 1v1 potential. Thoth is still open, though I don't know that we'll see him necessarily. Baskin likes the earlier game gods.
I was going to say, why don't you pick your solo laner first as Space Station and leave that mid lane flexible for Baskin to see exactly what composition he's got to go against here. I don't think Aquarius is going to be too worried being able to not know who he's against playing as Hercules.
No, but Odin looks awfully tasty here, doesn't it? I mean, Hercules, Hachiman, Ratatoskr, Athena and Rat can get out of the ring with their ultimates, but outside of that, would have some trouble with it.
Question is how good is Kliz's Odin?
Yeah, I mean, Osiris is kind of the pick that I think of when I think of Kliz playing pressure gods, so I think Osiris would be a fine matchup here as well up against the Hercules, but definitely want to see something along those lines.
Well, we expect a double 100% with the Fafnir, and we're going to get just that very physical, heavy composition here, though, aggro. Obviously, a lot of damage, but then again, it's all physical damage, and Hercules can just build physical protection
very, very easily as well. Now, Chulainn does have a bit of innate anti-heal in the kit in order to try and get stop that mitigate wounds heal from coming through too much from Hercules, but it's still gonna. Aquarius is gonna be really tight.
You started that as well, because I understand why, because like Xbalanque's face on the screen and Apollo's talking, like, wow.
I was sitting here trying to talk about Chulainn anti-heal, how it affects Hercules, saw Xbalanque, but Apollo sound cue locked in, and I'm just here like cross-eyed, like what is happening?
So we get double Hunter versus double Hunter. That's the interesting, because I was just calling out Black Dragons for being very physical heavy. Well, Space Station's the same.
They sure are, and Athena's not going to bring as much damage as even a Fafnir will a lot of the time. It's hard to confirm that Athena damage.
Can Black Dragons get something out of this one?
Baskin's still playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they can't, no.
Okay, let's get over to Tom and Taco to bring us game 2 of this best of 3.
Space Station Gaming trying to close this one out into Black Dragons, obviously trying to stretch it out just a little bit. Tom and Taco bringing the action for our 4th set of the day. Black Dragons, I think before Nocturnes played, I think a lot of people sat here and said that they are the best international team. Now Nocturnes making that a little bit interesting, but Black Dragons certainly on the more experienced side.
I think that both of those teams have a lot that they can bring to the table, and I think that this is going to be a very fun matchup between these two teams, matching the double hunter with their double hunter strategy of their own. Black Dragons also went for very different hunters in the sense that Ullr with the heavy ability-based kind of play style, and then you've got Artemis, who's opposite side of the spectrum, obviously. She's looking primarily towards being that attack speed-based hunter, looking for some of that critical strike damage, and Baskin on the Apollo to face off against Nann with the Ullr mid. This could really go either way. I know a lot of people would probably just anticipate that the Ullr would have the very clear advantage, but I don't think that's going to be the case here because of Apollo's audacity, and I think that having that passive to boost your attack speed is going to help him with lane clear just a little bit more than Nann.
Deep word from Spacestation to spot out the jungler pathing, but I love that you use the word audacity, which is of course the name of the Apollo passive, but I also think that has something to do with the playstyle of Baskin, where Ullr probably wins this fight most of the time in a vacuum, but Baskin gets an asterisk next to his name because he has the audacity to play the way he does. He's extremely aggressive. He's always looking for the duel, the 1v1 fight. He usually gets it, and he usually wins it. And Apollo, when it comes down to dueling, this is a duel character. So Baskin absolutely in the driver's seat. He played this once during the regular season, folks, and he, very rarely do I say this, he single-handedly won the game of Smite on the Baskin mid by getting a large lead and just transposing that to the rest of the map. We'll see if he can do the same thing today.
And Baskin going straight for Nann, not even paying much mind to the wave, but going to be forced to now. And there's the attack speed star wave that we were just talking about. Baskin didn't even use that so beautiful on the entire wave, and yet he still manages to out-pressure Nann.
It's the intricacies of that mid lane matchup with the Apollo pilot that I really like there. So he used BaRRaCCuDDa gets stunned. No follow-up though. No taunt for PIBE either. But it's the intricacy where So Beautiful hits the frontline minions, and then he just pays attention to Nann until he gets his Audacity passive back, and then he uses that to clear out the wave. I mean, Baskin just every little thing.
I know you saw that 90 crit, and there it goes
Twice.
again. That's not fun.
Oh, here comes Black Dragons from the middle lane. A little bit too slow as zGonnZ. Otherwise, Spacestation might have been gone, so he's going to play it safe and look towards the jungle, and successfully so.
It's one of those instances where you're about to invade, and then your mid laner is spamming enemies incoming left.
Yeah.
And so they immediately bail on the situation, opt for the safe choice, and that's going to be clearing up their own purple buff. So far, so good. If you're a Black Dragons fan, they're not behind, but they're not exactly ahead either. And this is still probably the position that they would much rather be in, considering how last game just went.
Absolutely. You've got MarcelZ on the Artemis, similar to the ROM, except you are going to have some of that early game. Don't get me wrong, she's not an early game character, but when you get that lucky crit, you can certainly swing things here in the early stages. So I think she has that above the ROM.
depending on your life RNG,
yeah,
I think over everything else, MarcelZ is, we've already seen him connect not just the 2 crits onto JeffHindla, but even getting the crit onto the buff. That's usually the sign that you might be having a good game.
PIBE gets taunted. Damage from BaRRaCCuDDa, but the hammer will miss. So no stun there just yet on the left-hand side. MarcelZ teammate Nann here versus Baskin, and lane seems to be going a little bit more as expected, right? Ullr should have the control over this lane, and I like what happened. We missed the interim, but I think the result tells us what happens. We saw the first wave, and Baskin just took the fight. And Nann was like, all right, I don't know how to deal with this, and kind of wound up in a bad spot. We miss a couple of waves while we go see the dual lane. We come back, and Nann has pressure in that lane. He's denying Baskin the ability to fight him. He's just not going to put himself in that position.
I think it's more so actually hold that thought, because Aquarius just got blinked on by zGonnZ. Root will connect. Kliz going to be able to find the root as well. Just another follow-up extra. But Aquarius with a beautiful stun off of andinster is going to make sure that he stays alive.
Andy trying to find the kill here. The flip is good. The kick is strong as well. zGonnZ does not go into the tower. Aquarius could not find the full 180. If he does, that's probably first blood. But more importantly, Spacestation wiggle out of what was certain death. Nice play from Aquarius off of the back of Andy right there.
I completely lost track of Andy in that fight as well. You're just so prepared to say Aquarius first blooded.
You forget the other jungler might exist.
JeffHindla caught the trap. There's the volley. Sprint is popped, but not really sure how to do it. So MarcelZ just going to watch the first blood walk by. Andy, level 5, no ultimate available. Wrapping around the back end. This could be it. There's the dash. The beads are strong, but the rat does find the kill. PIBE jumps away from the Ajutsu. He'll be fine. First blood for Spacestation Gaming.
Ooh. Kliz getting a little bit lucky there with that hitbox. I thought for sure that that Earthbreaker was about to bring him straight into Aquarius' clutches. And just multiple moments across the entire map where both of us, I think, weren't certain what was going to happen next. Spacestation just barely managing to find that first blood before Black Dragons could. MarcelZ and PIBE getting a little bit too bloodthirsty there, I think.
I mean, I wouldn't even sit, like, I'm not faulting them for the over-aggression. That's the right play. I just wish they actually got it. One more shot would have confirmed the kill. MarcelZ doesn't want to die here for a second time, so he'll pop that, the movement speed stim. What is that? Vengeful Assault?
Vengeful Assault? I remember Suppress the Insolent and Cascadian Boar.
Yeah. Vengeful Assault 2. 3 is Suppress the Insolent. The 1, the trap, is Transgressor's Fate. And the ultimate is Caledonian Boar. I like that one. You got to say it like that. At the end of the day, it's the War Pig. That's all it is.
Tusky.
Yeah, Tusky.
Sometimes a drone, depending on the skin, but we won't ever see that one.
Nah, it's Tusky. It's always been Tusky. It always will be Tusky. The game right now, pretty Tusky for Spacestation Gaming. What does that even mean? Well, it's a positive in this case. Things working out well. They're bringing home the bacon. Game 1 went in their favor. Looking for the same in Game 2.
Taking it back a few steps, though. Although I'm probably going to have to pause on this again because Andy's going straight into the mid lane, finds the beads off of Nann, but Baskin's already dashing straight forward. He's looking for more off the beautiful and gets blown up by guns.
Now that's the aggression you can get mad at. Not a good look there for Baskin. Usually when Baskin goes aggressive, things turn out well. Not this time. Ullr gets the assist. The jungler gets the kill.
And this kind of goes back to what I was just about to point out, is that we saw Baskin playing super aggressive in the level 1 phase because creeps just don't do the same damage that they used to, as Kliz dances with fate one more time, manages to get away from Aquarius. And pretty slippery Chulainn here.
Oh, I love this. Oh, no, but Baskin spotted out zGonnZ. Oh, so the gank isn't going to be there. Instead, it'll be the other direction. 3 versus 1. Dodges 1. Dodges 2. Can't dodge the 3rd. The Earthbreaker gets the kill. 2-1 Spacestation Gaming.
I like how Baskin throws Andy completely off of his route. I think that Through the Cosmos was overshot just a little bit there because Andy was expecting the juke forward.
Yeah. Tried to read it, couldn't that time around. Baskin with the important rotation. And it's interesting because, well, it's interesting if you're in my brain. One of the things we were talking about last break was that, you know, Kali didn't matter. Blink stun mattered, and Baskin was going to do well off of that. Blink stun from the rat could have worked as well. What's different is Baskin here on this Apollo, that kill on the right side only happens if he's Apollo.
But here's the thing. MarcelZ and PIBE are able to invade Spacestation's purple buff, and there's no response because everything was just used to try and punish zGonnZ for that rotation, or I shouldn't even really call it a rotation.
Yeah.
He was definitely looking for the gank. He just couldn't do anything about it.
At the same time, though, Black Dragons don't really lose much for it because, like you said, they gain in the left hand while they lose in the right hand. So everything winds up about even. Still a tie game for my money. Kliz here going to get dashed on and jumped on just a little bit. Nice knock-up from Kliz. Here comes PIBE. Ultimate's going to just miss tagging Baskin. JeffHindla's going to hold him in place, but zGonnZ on the backside takes care of andinster. PIBE takes care of JeffHindla. And it's 2 players down, and they're both in Spacestation jerseys. The black and white strike back. 3 kills for Black Dragons.
That did not go the way that I thought it would. Spacestation seemed like they had the jump on him, and Black Dragons just managing to turn around a tight situation. And they're not through just yet either. zGonnZ, Nann, and PIBE going to make sure to secure this T1 tower in mid lane. That's going to remove a safety route for Baskin. If he wants to try and farm efficiently, he's going to have to push up in the wave a little bit.
Big play for Black Dragons right there. You can see they're leading by about 300, but that's not the point I'm getting at. I'm talking about the swing. Previously, Space Station was up 500, and I don't care about a 500 gold lead, but I care about a 1,000 gold swing. Black Dragons do really well there. They get a couple of thousand off of that team fight. Space Station Gaming only got 69 gold for the entire fight, so Black Dragons certainly come up positive in that one.
And also, we were just mentioning the Purple Buff invade by Black Dragons. The amount of respect that BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla are giving this Artemis because of that crit passive, I think. They don't want to get close. They don't want to risk endangering themselves while their team is focused elsewhere.
That said, Space Station should be looking for the fights in that duo lane right now. The lifesteal just isn't there for BD. MarcelZ doesn't have his gloves online. He went the boots first, where Space Station prioritized that lifesteal. So, sure, right now, respect in the buff invades, go ahead. In the lane, I want to see him fight, Taco.
Just wait till BaRRa finishes his boots. Then we'll start to see some fights happen. And even then, BaRRa is going to have to play it pretty safe. I think that normally we would probably see BaRRa stepping up a little bit closer. But on the Hachiman, he has a slight advantage. The Heavenly Banner is going to be his long-range poke. On top of that, he's also got the Eagle Eye shots and mounted archery, practically unavoidable for Artemis.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to run away. Space Station Gaming running to the Gold Fury. Here comes Black Dragons. Are they a little bit too late? Showing up. Here's the blink forward. Taunt. Space Station Gaming at the Gold Fury off of a beautiful taunt from JeffHindla. Trades his life for it. Worth.
I respect the discipline by Andy there. He could have probably traded out his life. I think he might have even been able to find the kill onto the Ravana and still get out, but better to play it safe than sorry.
You guys saw the interview that we had with Jeff and BaRRa, and Jeff refusing to take credit. I'm done. I'm not okay with that anymore. JeffHindla, he finds the taunt that secures the Gold Fury. If Jeff does literally anything else, Gold Fury goes to Black Dragons with an easy steal. Just big boy plays coming out from a big boy support. JeffHindla 0-2-0 again. What Jeff does doesn't really wind up on the scoreboard, but it just controls the game.
You're crazy, though, if you think that Jeff isn't going to take every opportunity to gas up his boy, or excuse me, his man's BaRRaCCuDDa, because we all know they're together.
No, I mean, that's the, that little, the love story of the duo lane, the love story of the long lane.
And they were even finishing their own sentences in the interview. They would start with the same words.
It was really funny. Yeah, those guys, I mean, they've been teaming forever. I mean, modern Smite has been Jeff and BaRRaCCuDDa together. Launch tournament, Jeff was playing with Pain de Viande as his hunter. After that change, these guys haven't seen a different roster. I think that really speaks volumes. And it's funny, because I don't think every team succeeds simply because they haven't changed rosters at all. And I think Jeff and BaRRa are one of the few examples that work out never seeing change.
Some pairings just should never be broken. It's just one of those staple combinations that you really can't imagine BaRRa without immediately thinking JeffHindla.
It's the personal side of the game. I mean, we saw, Spiff and friends put together that documentary earlier, or last year rather, and it's not just on the field, it's off the field as well. These guys are a really big part of each other's lives, and it's been 5 years since Season 1. You do a lot of growing in that time.
I also really like that you brought up that documentary, because I feel as though Season 4, Space Station, or at least BaRRa and Jeff, didn't get to live up to it as much as they would have wanted to. And to me, Season 5 feels a lot like their redemption.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, BaRRa, going for MarcelZ, chases out the pig. There's the taunt. JeffHindla just looking for it by himself. Won't be able to find it, but he's got help in the wings. Baskin comes down from the sky and takes the kill. And he follows up. PIBE, he's toast. That's number 4 for Space Station. They find themselves with a nice 1,000 gold lead. Aquarius trying to deal with GonnZ.
I think PIBE tries the early detransformation, but speaking of which, Aquarius got the easy alley-oop setup for andinster now. He's just got to connect with this through the Cosmos. Does manage to find Nann in the process, and you could see the frustration building on Nann's face even in the player game before it swapped over. Just such an unexpected moment.
Aquarius is really striking me as North American Arkle. 13-minute fire giant. What are you thinking?
Jeff's level 9. Jeff is gonna get destroyed by this fire giant. Kliz, sure enough, make sure to show some face, and that's going to be enough to prompt Spacestation off of the fire giant, but not away from the fight. Kliz throws out the horrific emblem. Beautiful Earthbreaker by Aquarius. Stops him dead in his tracks, but with the horrific still being applied to everybody in the vicinity, Spacestation is going to back off.
So, Aquarius joins a squad of 4 superstars. Nobody's going to tell me that Andy, Baskin, Jeff, and BaRRa are not 4 individual superstars. Sorry, I don't care if you argue. And it reminds me of when Arkle joined 4 superstars on Dignitas. Trixtank, Hugo Fred, Variety, and Zeros, right? Superstars, maybe even less so than Spacestation at the time. And Arkle was just this guy that had played on a lower-end team. You know, he's good, but how good? That's kind of what Aquarius has done here, in that he came out, played on a lower-end team, joined these guys, and he's good, but you know, we call him a role player, a guy that fits in there. He's slowly becoming a star in his own right.
And both of those players, too, were players that I think the public never really perceived as having the ability to actually take off and establish their own names. But this is part of the reason why we see teams making those sort of decisions, because they can see a lot more than most. And the potential has always been there, I think, for players like Aquarius, for somebody like Arkle. They just needed the proper foundation to build off of it, and I can't imagine better situations than having the leadership possibilities that you do see from teams like Spacestation, like Dignitas, with all of those veteran members.
So many different possibilities there. Gold's Fury, 25% and counting. There's the jump in, and it's stolen! Black Dragons take it away. zGonnZ with the final hit, but the ensuing team fight is all black and yellow. Aquarius pick up zGonnZ. Kliz could be next. Pull, push, stomp. He jumps away for now, but they can't get away from Baskin. Mid lane Apollo again on top. Sorry, BaRRa. Use the ultimate for no reason. Baskin's going to take the kill anyway. Mid lane tower could be next.
Blink for beads. Andinster's more than happy to take that trade against Nann, and they're still pushing for more. They don't even want to call it quits just at the T1 alone. Nann going to get some nice poke there onto Baskin, but there's still a full creep wave that they have to worry about, and this T2 tower is already getting chunked at pretty heavily here. Sprint was popped as well by Black Dragons, but Spacestation still walk away with the better trade of it.
Huge heads-up play there from MarcelZ. Obviously, both towers went down, and that's never good, but I think that's a team wipe if Andy gets his gank off. Andy wraps around the back and just looks for the flank. Nobody notices him but MarcelZ, who pops the steroid and just shoots him in the face and goes, look, if you want to find this flank, I'm going to shoot you in the face. They still lose the tower, but they don't get wiped. Fire Giant needs to be responded to.
I don't know if they have the ability to do so. Everything's on cooldown. From Black Dragon, Spacestation going to make quick work of that Fire Giant. They do manage to secure it. Nann actually still trying to stay alive in the backside, but BaRRaCCuDDa manages to pick him up, and JeffHindla also died in the chaos of it all.
zGonnZ was trying for it, did well, got a single kill, tried to find the secondary on Andy, but he does escape there. Kliz trying to avoid the audacity, and he will. Getting chased down by 2 hunters. Bet you guys miss Fatalis. Kliz gonna get up by the horse as well. Slowed is good. Rats in the air, gonna dodge out the ultimate. Kliz still on the run. Basics are strong. And finally, Kliz falls down. Not feeling too good about that one as the Brazilian solo laner.
It's so early that Spacestation haven't even had the opportunity to build a single executioner yet. The only amount of physical penetration Baskin has is coming from that Aussie. BaRRa just now managing to pick up that XZ, so will help out quite a bit.
Why the double lifesteal for Baskin?
Because he doesn't need to build Executioner. He probably talked to BaRRa in advance, and Spacestation probably agreed in advance that BaRRa would be the hunter picking up the XZ. At a competitive level of play, you don't need 2 hunters running Executioner, because they should be focusing the same target at all times anyway. That's kind of the whole purpose, I think, behind these double hunter compositions.
Baskin just putting it into first and circling them all real quick. Drive slow, homie. Right there, real talk, I think Baskin's looking for the information. Essentially a new ult, satellite ult as I like to call it. Go in the sky. Baskin, where are they? Okay, we're going to take care of the towers on the left side because nobody's responding. Easy peasy.
Baskin just casually tanking the T2 tower. Still hurts. Just a little bit.
Aggro would be mad at me if I didn't mention the skin. This is Aggro's favorite Apollo skin, the Neon Lightning one.
The T2. It's a really great skin.
Well, tier 2 just going down now. JeffHindla getting big damage onto him. Control by PIBE is momentary. Big knock-up from Kliz. So many opportunities for Black Dragons, but they're not able to finish it off. Baskin gets one. Kliz gonna fall down. Andy, on the other hand, gets the second. PIBE sit down the hard way. Spacestation with a dozen. Double kill for andinster as the left side Phoenix goes down, and it's all about the Titan. Black Dragons trying to play defense here in the last moments of the game. BaRRaCCuDDa gets jumped on. Baskin takes care of MarcelZ. Have HP on the Titan. Baskin takes care of zGonnZ. 25% on the Titan, and it's gone. Under 20 minutes of play, Spacestation Gaming 2-0.
And here's the thing as well. It's not like either one of those games. Well, I think game 1 was way more dominated and way more one-sided towards Spacestation, but game 2, it didn't really feel like Black Dragons really did anything wrong. It was kind of just a couple of unfortunate team fights. 1 or 2 picks is all it takes sometimes at a competitive level of play, and you just get fully punished for it every single time. I mean, Spacestation, they weren't even working with a whole lot there. They found 1 pick, kept shoving straight down the lane, looking for more, and he cleans up 2 on the backside inside of the fountain room. And anytime a team is able to dive that deep, well, you can kind of expect what happens next.
I thought Black Dragons was actually going to bring us to a game 3 at a number of moments, right? We saw the Gold Fury steal a little bit earlier than that. They were doing some nice things, but unable to really contain the game. Baskin didn't all-out carry like he did the last time he played the Apollo, but was certainly a big part of what made this a Spacestation win.
Everybody on Spacestation just looked so coordinated. They were really well put together, and I think that this was a strong demonstration of more to come from this roster. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next with these guys, because they got to face up against Dignitas, and that's going to be a set to watch.
We asked them. I said straight up, I mean, I've been saying it on broadcast. I think that this is the best team that BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla, whatever or you want to call them, this is the best team that they've had since they won the World Championship in Season 1. And Barra didn't even let me finish the sentence before he said, yes, absolutely. And I think the play is speaking for itself right here. I think Spacestation Gaming are back on their beeswax and just doing what people expect out of them.
I think that this is probably Barra's dream roster.
Yeah?
Yeah. I say that without a doubt in my mind, that he has everybody on his team that he could have possibly wanted. The same could even be said for Andy, too, because Andy has always wanted to be side-by-side with Baskin, and now that he's got his home again in the jungle, he can rely on Baskin in the mid lane. We just saw him go from, one end of the spectrum to the other, between Poseidon straight into the Apollo. It's just all over the place with these guys, really.
It's always all over the place. Invision Eye is literally just trying to
jumping
distract
around.
me. Yeah, blame OCE. Anyway, let us know in Mixer Chat who you think the MVP of this one was. Whether it was Baskin. I saw a lot of work from BaRRaCCuDDa as well there, doing strong stuff. Also Aquarius. Love the fact that they gave him the Hercules. Let us know. Let us know who you think takes it. But right now, taking it from me will be the desk.
Thanks so much, Tom and Taco as well. That's the last game for today, with Spacestation managing to 2-0 the Black Dragons.
Surprise, surprise. Baskin, andinster, Jeff, BaRRa, Aquarius is a good team. And continue
Wasn't
to
that
look
clean,
like a
though,
good team.
let's be honest. Like, got to give credit where it's due to what Black Dragons did that game. It wasn't as clean as you would have expected.
No, it wasn't, but that's what playing against a team like SSG will do to you if you are someone who isn't used to that sort of level of play. What I mean by that is, Black Dragons make a play, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're back into it. Spacestation goes, okay, nice, cool. Now you have to answer perfectly to this next thing that we're going to do. And Black Dragons are like, whoa, okay, we can do that. And then Spacestation goes, oh, nice. Okay, we're going to pull Fire Giant. What do you do now? And Black Dragons are like, wait, what? We weren't ready for the third thing. It's just a constant stream of decisions you have to answer perfectly. And Black Dragons they got the first few right, and then towards the back end of the test, they fell off a bit.
MVP from you guys at home was Baskin once again, I believe. He had a decent performance. He died a couple of times, though.
He did, and I liked Black Dragons
like KD of 9.
Aggressively, yeah, exactly. Low for Baskin, it feels like, though. Certainly his season KDA 3.6 is crazy, but It almost feels low with how well he's played this split.
Now, a lot of people have been saying, I was looking on Twitter about some of the pros that didn't make it out here from Europe and North America, and they're discussing the fact that Baskin might not be able to get away with these high-pressure mid laners that he's been looking to try and do consistently. Europe might not be the easiest place to allow this to happen.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because Europe has felt like low pressure and playing towards the late game is what they want to do anyways. So if they thought that high-pressure mid laners were good, they'd be playing them themselves. That's what my takeaway is there. But I do think that the overall consensus from a lot of those pros that didn't make it here was that Europe looked better than NA today, and I don't see how you could ever argue with that. I mean, United goes 50 minutes with Nocturnes and plays very sloppily doing so. In that game, as you mentioned, SSG didn't look particularly clean, whereas both Rival and Dignitas dominated their games.
I do think, though, on paper, if you look at the regions, I'm kind of sat there going, well, SEA and Oceania are technically a little bit easier than Latin and Brazil.
I completely agree with you there as well. I mean, I do think that the EU got the easier two international teams, but at the same time, you can only play who's in front of you. You can't really hold it against Europe that they didn't get a chance to play against Nocturnes. They just looked good against who they had to play.
Well, Spacestation, they got done taking on Black Dragons. We've got an interview with some of the Spacestation members right now.
So now that you guys have managed to secure your set against Black Dragons, how are you guys feeling about going into your next matchup with Dignitas?
Pretty good. Obviously, in the Black Dragon set, I made a few mistakes, and we kind of fumbled around a little bit. But we feel confident, and hopefully our games will be cleaner against Dig.
I mean, so against Dig, I mean, you said cleaner. Hopefully, I mean, where are you looking? What do you think you need to improve from today to tomorrow?
To be honest, I think we just need to play a little bit. Like, we actually need to play aggressive and be coordinated with it. And I think that was about it. It was just slightly different pages for what we wanted to do.
We were just a little timid at times. We shouldn't be timid or a little over aggressive. We're just going to tone it back or tone it up a little bit depending on the situation.
How did you feel, Jeff, being a level 9 Athena trying to tank the Fire Giant?
Let's do Fire Giant. I guess I'm dying for it. Like,
okay, Baskin calls in scrims. He always calls Portal Fire Giant, and this time he actually meant Fire Giant. So Aqua was like on the wave, Andy was like doing backs or something, and then Baskin's like, guys, Fire Giant. We're like, wait, what? You meant fire and not portal? But yeah.
You guys have had Aquarius on the squad for a while, and it's been 4 stars and the other guy for a long time. I don't think that's the case anymore. Has that ever felt like the case for you guys? Did you always know he was a star? Did you expect him to be this strong? You know, just talk about Aqua.
Honestly, Aqua has been killing it for months now. Yeah, maybe his name doesn't get screamed all day or something like that, but he's always doing his job. He's making rotations. He knows when TP's up, when this is down, when to push in, when to start a fight, when to dot. Like, Aqua just plays solid the whole time, and that's as good as a star who's like half and half. You know what I mean? Like, he's just nuts.
He's definitely like one of the best teammates ever because he never complains ever about anything. Like, there was a scrim where he was like 3 levels down, and then he's like, I haven't got a blue buff all game. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. He said like one thing the entire game. Like, he's just a good teammate, great person.
Last question, Jeff. Are you ready to take credit? You're looking great.
Thank you. I'll take a little bit. I died 3 times though. No good.
Fantastic. Congratulations on your win. We'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
How come every time BaRRaCCuDDa does an interview, he giggles at the start?
At the very beginning.
I just thought
he's got to get it out of the way. You know what I mean? He giggles, and then I was going to say he gets serious after that, but he really doesn't. I mean, come on.
Let's have a look at the brackets and see how things played out today for you all at home. The upper bracket is as most people would have expected. We're going to get to see Rival versus EU United and Dignitas versus Spacestation tomorrow.
No surprises. No surprises, but certainly a lot of excitement for those matchups.
And the lower half of the bracket, obviously that means that Mashu Boys versus Nocturne Gaming is on the cards tomorrow. SEA versus LATAM. LATAM definitely my favorites there in this lower half of the bracket.
Agreed.
But then again, I think Brazil is definitely someone to watch out for too. This could get interesting as time goes on.
Yeah, I think that I'm expecting Nocturnes and Black Dragons to move on from their lower round matchups. But honestly, I'm excited to see what zGonnZ has to bring to the table. It looked like they were starting to get a little bit better in Game 2 against Dignitas. I wonder if they learned enough to take it to Black Dragons.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one throughout. So tomorrow, we're back live once again at 11 a.m. All these players playing, obviously, for Masters. But coming up soon is hi-rez Expo. It's going to be live at DreamHack, and you guys should be getting tickets right about now to make sure you can guarantee yourselves the best ones. They're also cheaper if you get them early.
Ooh, a little discount for you, an early bird special, if you will. Okay.
That's exactly what it says on the website.
Does it? I didn't even
Early
look
bird
at it.
website.
What can I say? We're on the same page.
What do you say? So make sure you get your tickets there. From everyone here, though, hi-rez Studios and all the players too, it's time to bid you adieu for tonight. Tomorrow, we'll be back tomorrow, like I said, 11 a.m. Over in Europe, that's around 4 o'clock in UK, and then in Central Europe, that's at 5 p.m. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you all tomorrow for some more Masters LAN action.